And welcome back. We're picking where we left off of last time in Victoria 3 as the Great Qing. We're in 1.9.6. Our previous 1.9, or we're in 1.9.7. Our previous 1.9.6 patch did load up into it, looks like, in the last part without any real problems. If something breaks late in the run, that's probably where that's coming from, is the patch note shift. But it seems to be working for the moment. I think we're coming up on finishing up all the logging camps at this point. Thinking, yeah, we probably do want to do a little bit more of a swap over, a little more of a skew towards hardwood. Oh, maybe skewed a little too hard there. And the reason is, as soon as rifling, well, we skewed before rifling. We may need to want to skew again after, but rifling is going to have more hardwood requirements, I think, than the previous PM. Think. Might be wrong. Oh no, it's the same, just tools. Okay. It'll be fine. Not a bait success. We're trying to pass laissez-faire. Initially, the big thing there is going to be loan interest is going to be down. We do have a little bit of a credit. It's only going to save us about 2.5 thousand. And the other big thing in the long run will be the bigger private construction queue allocation. If you have the DLC, the free company charters is pretty strong. I don't have the DLC, so I'm going to have more company charters than I have companies. And I can only use one company charter per company, so it's less important. There we go. So with that, we can go ahead and grab Taiping Mining Company. That'll allow something to own coal mines and railways, and it's got tech spread benefit as well. And then obviously we'll come in here and we'll give it trade rights as well. So it can own trade centers. Then back over here, over to dynamite. And the pump checks. See if we can actually pass laissez-faire here, if they're just going to debate back and forth. There's no one opposed to it, so it should just eventually pass, but should eventually pass, and passing it in a reasonable time scale are two entirely different things most days. I don't, oh no, I've got more, oh no, I don't have, well, a little bit more wood. Got a little bit more expansion capacity with wood. It is appearing to be profitable, so we will go ahead and just queue up the last 6. So we don't have any more. We got all the fish queued up. Probably have more expansion potential with coal and iron and other mining stuff. We're mainly focusing on resource extraction right now because they're quick to build, and with the global market we can kind of push those out to everyone else. And then when we run out of those things, we're going to turn around and start making factory goods, hopefully at that point. Though apparently I need more engines. The last engine expansion was not enough. Or maybe it was enough and the demand's risen again. That would make sense as well. Because at some point we are gonna want to do all the automatic irrigation, and that's again another one that's gonna be very input consumption heavy. Or engine heavy. There's our rifles. We will go ahead and swap. It is predicting that this will be not profitable. But that's because we're importing a lot of rifles. We're actually trying to displace the imports here with local production. So until the imports drop away, it'll not be particularly profitable. So if we do this one, we're going to lose the middle managers and have a bureaucracy shortage. So let's do this one. Let's, well, there isn't the modifier on subventions on, or there isn't that event anymore with, weapon exports. Okay, we're no longer, or should soon no longer be importing it. Maybe we'll get some exports going. Got a new mandate. We'll pick up vassalization too. Get us more income transfer from subjects. Oh, okay, we need to change the government. The rule folk dropped out. The modernizer went away, which is a shame. Okay, and again, let's say fair if we can actually complete it, which is less of a gimme now that the rule folk are opposed to it. Shame that modernizer didn't hang around longer. Are you actually also opposed? Oh, I assume they're opposed to interventionalism. No, it's easier just by coming over to here. Yeah. Okay. Well, they're not strongly opposed, so if it doesn't pass, we'll go to interventionalism instead, which I don't think will be as strong. Though I think it still will result in us having an overall investment improvement. I suspect at this point the investment coming mostly from... Oh no. Well, yes. So I'd say it's mostly coming from financial districts to look at it and it's like, oh no, it's mostly coming from the company headquarters and the manor houses, but the company headquarters are capitalists again, so that's fine. So that's the ability to swap to proportional taxation. It's probably still too early for that. I might try to skip per capita and go straight to proportional. We'll see. Interesting. So I'm thinking the global market must be really over-required if we're importing at negative 38%, we're importing guns. Guns must be oversupplied in the global market. So, let's just assume that's the case. World market for guns. Interesting. It is oversupplied, but it's not like that oversupplied. Apparently Prussia's the main exporter, and the British are the main importer. Okay. You know, well, basically dropping the tariffs on anything that's not particularly profitable in our market. Probably need to build more paper. We're not importing it yet, but we also don't want to get it expensive. So there's dynamite coming up in 6 weeks. So that'll give us more mineral resources. Back to importing sulfur. Okay, so we should build some sulfur mines. We don't have a lot of domestic sulfur, but we have some, and it'd be better to make it rather than export, or make it rather than import it. So we'll do 10. Okay. And we'll encourage some exports, I think is what we'll go for there. Dynamite. Get pump jacks. And then swap explosives over to vacuum. Okay, I'm probably going to need to produce more explosives. That's what it's looking like there. The temporary 33% more explosives will be good there. No, I'm not going to give you more autonomy. Okay, so I know these guys are in... We've been in long enough. Lose 60 cohesion. Well, we'll do it. We lost the investment rights because, you know, you don't need it when they're your subject. Wait for this to get back up to a decent amount. We want to do the same to Nicaragua. Well, we got a year before we can do it to Nicaragua. They're another minus 60. Again, we are butting up in the range where for a couple weeks there, I think we were at more than 50% private. And that'd be one place where laissez-faire helps, because we'd have greater private construction queue. Because at least without reforming our taxes, we don't really have comfortably more space for government construction. Looking at, we do have more space for improving relations. Might as well improve relations with Russia. Our subject. You know, let's also work on these guys in the middle here. Don't think we've brought them into the power block. don't have the influence for that anyway. Okay, well, let's for some of our group relations to come back, and then we'll try to do some more trees. So at some point I should invest... Well, we're going to invest in that, I think, when we get the principles here. But we'll probably invest in some more colonial affairs, so we have lower infamy costs for making puppets and forcing investment rights and stuff like that. We'll probably move into Persia when Persia drops below 25. Ooh, yeah, I think this is going nowhere. 3% chance of success at this point, or 3% chance of advancing at this point is pretty likely to fail, I think. The rural folk leader changing kind of screwed it. I think there's absolutely no ideologies I can bring in? No. Market liberal comes from a liberal movement. And reformer. Yeah, I don't think there's any that I can use to try to get more modernizers. Could try to empower the liberal movement and hope to get more market liberals, but it's also more like democracy, which is not kind of what we're looking for. Yeah. I can't tell that some of this is construction, some of this is growth, right, with the bureaucracy going down. Probably mostly from growth, to be fair. We are a big country, so 0.4% population growth is still 1.9 million people annually. And as we fix things, we'll get more pop growth. So, yeah. Okay, we're importing 2,000 explosives. We need more engines, so... You're 40 engines. We want, like, 7 more motor industries. So, 7 more motor industries. And then explosive-wise, we're going to want basically 20 explosives. So that's 10. Okay, ignore the fact that it's saying that some of these aren't profitable. That is because we're importing some. We need to drive off the imports with the subsidized production. And to be fair, we're going to turn around and probably build more mines as well. So, and we're actively building more mines. And we're still importing more merchant marine, so it would make more sense to build more ports. Build like another 34 ports. Yep, there's laissez-faire. Technically hasn't died, but we're going to get an event pop up saying, oh, you've got no success chance. And then I'll kill it. So we'll give up. Instead do interventionalism, which should buy a little bit less of an opposition from the real folk. Either way, this will, well, laissez-faire we would have benefited from the 25% more capitalist and shopkeeper investment contribution efficiency. At least getting off of grainism, we're losing the minus 25% on capitalists, who I believe are currently our largest investment class. So we're at the point where we want to empower the capitalists to invest. Interventionalism won't be quite as nice as laissez-faire. It might be a little easier of a swing going to interventionalism and then moving to laissez-faire. Because these guys, yeah, they'd still support that move. The rural folk would oppose it less, I think. Okay, they're opposing this first step, and they actually still be a minus... I think it's a minus 10 still doing that swap, but if we're giving them something else they like, they'll still be more happy. It's maybe a good way to think about it. Oh, and we're going to be real desperate for more engines when pump jacks are done. So next step will be engines, engines, and more engines. As all the plantations get turned to 11. The doubling output there. I think we'll probably go shift work next after pump jacks here. Nope. Jack Ripper got caught. Random traditionalist guy, yeah, that will... Okay, there's pump jacks, oil. Always encourage people to move to the oil fields, even though it's maybe a little preemptive right now. Shift work. I think I put the engines before, yeah, we'll put the engines before the explosives. So even with that, we're made more engines and we're promptly back to making more, or importing them again, yeah. Sounds about right. On the other hand, we are at least at the point... Oh, I straight up have some high subventions. I think I'm going to go to maximum subventions here. And then no tariffs. To increase the likelihood we are importing it. And then we will begin the transition with the pump jacks. So we'll start something small. We'll start with the vineyards. Let's price drop. And another small one. We'll go cotton plantations next. Go another week. 2. Price is low. Find. We're going basically slowly laddering up here into more and more yield. More and more consumption of engines as we do this. Because I'm not sure how much the global market's going to support us importing engines. And we're in max subvention, so if we can import them, we're importing them. That's basically what's going on right now. Okay. Silk. And bananas. Then we just have the tea left. We'll fully take advantage of the pump jacks. There we go. So I think that was, yeah, now you finally become subject under them. Weeks on that before that mandate goes in, yeah. Then engines. I think we have enough that shouldn't completely crash the market doing automated irrigation there. Yeah, and right now we're importing 3,000 engines. If anything, that's probably making some of the other, or making it harder to export some stuff, but... So now, to get the GDP to go up, because that, in theory, doing that swap didn't make very much GDP, because we're importing only engines. But what we can do is, when we go in or make all those engines, that's basically we've just made a bunch of demand for stuff we can then fill. So I've got two different options here. I can go colonial offices for number 3. Which number 3 here has infamy generation reduction against unrecognized powers. We could, in theory, push this pretty high. And then we could basically go around making a bunch of subjects. Or I could go in for an investment. Which would increase the leverage from economic dependence, allowing us a little bit more advantage with trying to drag people into our market. Or into becoming a protectorate. Those are the two I'm thinking about. You know, we got forced onto a colonial affairs, so let's pick up colonial offices. It'll take a couple more tiers for this to level up before it's really going to let us start to rapidly expand, but in the meantime, it's not bad. Engines of progress. Railways, motors, steel rail cars, please. I get trade privileges. Or no, you get trade privileges, I get investment rates. Sure. Apparently someone in the market has the ability to consume steamers. Let's, to be nice, let them drop tariffs so it's easier to import. Meet their requirements. And then engines here. So engines, because we have maximum subventions on, are actually below 1-to-1. We may try to decrease our subventions coming up. But let's get a bunch of these into queue. So 3,800. So that's 5 levels short of 100 levels. It's 95 motor industries. Oops. Well, the game was chugging there for a moment. Because for whatever reason, it decided to queue all of them instead of just domestic, which is what I had set to. Game's not always the brightest bulb in the shed sometimes. We can close this up to get a little bit longer list. So, from highest earnings to lowest earnings. Oops. Put 20 somewhere. 50, 60, 70, 80. 95. See, the education's doing a good job at raising the literacy. Already up to 34%. We've nearly doubled the literacy here. In fact, since Game Start, I think we have double the literacy. Hopefully interventionism will pass soon. We'll wait a little bit before we attempt to run and laissez-faire. I do still think we want laissez-faire in the long run, but... Oh, we've pissed the petit bourgeoisie off, so we've lost middle managers. Granted, they got pissed off because they become Republican. That would do it. So we're going to need some to make up for the fact that we've got less bureaucracy. Do you want to do that before the motor industries or after? We'll do it before the motor industries. Because to be fair, they build pretty quickly. So we can go and get bureaucracy back. And at the same time, generate a little bit more tax revenue. Well, the big one, we're a little while off from it, is... central planning for telephone switchboards and telephones. That'll really let us just do whatever we want taxation-wise. I'm not on pissing people off mode at the moment, so... We have some diplomacy available. Oh, we actually got more tax revenue now that the whole Jack the Ripper situation has completed itself. Opium porcelain is our taxes. They're antagonistic. That's the main thing that's stopping us from making that work, I think. Same here. We haven't been able to successfully get them improved. Murmur as a subject. Jimmy was apparently one of our rebellious subjects. No, I'm gonna go ahead. They already don't like us. I'm gonna revoke that. Now that we have direct contact to them, they shouldn't have market separation, and that'll allow us to cause some more economic dependence on for them. Yeah, that'll drag them down. Okay. Ooh, I just realized I have the ability to colonize. Russia has claims. Okay. I don't think you can negotiate claims away. At least not without... Yeah, I can't negotiate their claims away. Bit of a shame. My standard from... just offering estates. My standard. Okay. Might technically be able to do that against smaller powers. Oh, I wonder, could we do that on our own subjects? Let's ask if they want to, if I can take a state off of them. Yeah, most of these are no, because... Well, they're core states after all, right? Diplomatic stance helps, just not within the affordability range. Okay. Another thing we can do is we maybe try to sneak our way into a lot of these smaller countries. Power block embassy investment rights. Just go around asking for these. Yeah. So most of these small ones looks like they'll just accept due to being somewhat scared of us. I don't have to give them anything for it. The bigger ones I might have to trade for something. Okay, some places said no, most of them said yes. Should give us a slow ticking into a lot of those countries. Gain legitimacy, the cost of rule folk power, which is something I'm probably on board with. Yeah. Because it's a legitimate government territory. Weakens the rule folk, which is good because they're opposed to some of the laws that I want to pass, including the current one. check to make sure I've got motor injury subsidized. I do. We just got a lot to build is what's going on there. Okay. Economy of scale. Shift work done. Our sector's throughput wants to build more with the same. Steel railway. That might do vacuum canning, just have something that consumes oil. Yeah, vacuum canning, something that consumes oil, vulcanization. So we can go over and get the machine to tools going. We're just below... Actually, no, Great Britain has... I wonder what Great Britain's actually doing to get such high GDP. Or, not, prestige. Tory Hanover, time modifiers, technology... gross domestic product. Okay, so they got a lot of percentile modifiers that presumably we don't have. So either lose it from the Scala officials, or I can get a smaller modifier and get it on the industrialists. Let's go improve the industrialist power. Again, that'll help us with some of the law passes I'm trying to do. Oh, the navies. The Navy. The British Navy. Okay. That would be a thing we could do, is we could build up our Navy. And I'm kind of tempted to do that. We're still sitting around with the... No, we got 190. So they just must have the modern ships. Or there's a math error with how the Navy's being calculated. Doubt the British Navy is that much bigger than mine. Okay, it's twice our size and presumably modernized. Presumably modernized. Light ships. Yeah, they're running ironclads, that makes sense. They're running the metal ones. The metal ones. There we go. Okay, so... Well, right now we got no one that actually supports Portugal. In the government, right? So the rural folk petite bourgeoisie support it. Because they wanted to get off a land tax. But right now we have a good government, which is the industrialists. They actually like per capita. That makes me tempted to swap to per capita. Though we are almost at the point where proportional would be profitable. In the long run, I think proportional is going to be the better of the two choices. So do I want to just take the hit now to get on the proportional? Yeah, I just want to take the hit now to get on the proportional. So we can definitely do that. So that's... Whoops. Need the scholar officials in government. It's the industrialists. We account. Exchange for petite bourgeoisie, or the armed forces, and can I do the petite bourgeoisie? By lower taxes. Yeah, by lower taxes. Or could we do... No. Okay, so petite bourgeoisie is going to be the way to go. Well, I could potentially say... Armed forces? No. Okay. So yeah, petite bourgeoisie. Do that. We're going to temporarily lower taxes to medium. And then we're going to do the swap to proportional. What type of person we're getting? No. There's rotary valve engines. Doesn't necessarily help us yet. We're not quite ready to go for labor-saving PMs. We'll see what spreads next. Vacuum canning, that's nice. That's what I was thinking about doing next. Because of that spreading test, I'll probably go localization instead. Or just a little deficit spending here while we're trying to pass proportional. Proportional is not going to be a revenue increase, it's actually going to be a revenue decrease. But it's going to scale better as we expand. That's the hope. Interesting, everything's under water. I suppose it's a good thing if we're just making too much of everything. But most of these are exports, right? So we set it up to export you, export you, export you, export you. We have probably too heavy of inventions on here, so we're going to drop this one tick. Because we need to import less of that. Especially as we build more. No, let's drop you to don't pay for more explosives. We want to make it locally if we can. And then presumably whoever was responsible for selling us all those engines are going to be very disappointed as we become less and less dependent on those engines. Oh, I need to expand construction. That's the increased investment pool from change kicking in there. Or though we're gonna get increased efficiency in 6 weeks. Let's wait and see how that works out. We'll wait like 12 and see if we're still got queued up private queue. There we go. Ironclads. Monitors is the light ships, right? Yeah. So there's an argument. Hold off a little bit. I want to do the machine tools, the vulcanization next. We'll do that after that one. Start the naval transition over to the metal ships. So I'm going to have you be fired. Be a little bit of gamble that we don't get, like, someone opposed to proportional taxations here. For more legitimacy. Or get more loyalists. I think we'll go have the leader step down. So we just got another leader that has the same. That works. Petite bourgeoisie is the next heir. Oh, that's an interesting one. So that means we'd be out scholar officials in petite bourgeoisie. Feels like our gold reserve is going up faster than we can spend it right now from privatization effects going in. Yeah, I need more construction. The throughput increase wasn't enough to meet the demands. Let's go ahead and pile another 5 in everywhere we got some. We're upgraded to 20. Shove those to the top. Do I still have decrees out? Might be worth bringing those back and just doing more taxes. Yeah, let's pull those back. Oops. Let's just do some more taxes. Transport. We'll do coal as well. It's not making necessarily a lot more revenue, but it's making some. And philanthropy here. I'm not really worried about minimum standard of living increases. So we'll take a plus 20, make it much more likely to finish. I think I still need more construction. Yeah. Yeah, some of those places might not have been the best place. Like, this is maybe not the best place to be building it, but we're building it there. Construction sectors don't require as many workers as they used to, so you can be a little bit less picky right here to build them. There's proportional taxation. And back over to industrialists. Could try to swing no migration controls. Where you don't have the tech yet for commercialized agriculture. Oh, I suppose I could try for laissez-faire. The rural folk might not even be pissed off enough anymore to really join the opposition here. I am thinking about it. That would be one way to get around to not having enough construction right now. Yeah, let's try that. It may fail, but I think we're decent possibility for it not to. How's the power blocks, Brandon? It is. No place over here we did stuff. Did we get up to 200 yet? It looks like we might be near saturation in some of these places. let's do another round. So I need a little bit more government admin for the next colonial affairs. And some more home affairs and law enforcement. So do another round of this. Is a backstop for when we end up finishing all the motor industries. Well, Korea's having a rebellion. Oh, the skirmish, the upgrade. Doesn't make a big difference. Oh, you just have to push the right button to do it. Okay, it's fine. These guys are still the guys in charge, so we'll go ahead and promote you. To get a reasonable enough general. And they only have one front, so we can just overwhelm that one front. No, we're not going to let you know. Could have given them the secret place, but I'm not that generous. I'm desperate, I can just about cover everything by moving up to very high taxes, so I'm not too worried about our expenditure right now. I've already got more of a gold reserve than I want. Next colonial affairs. Then in the opposition. I think that's maybe coming from the fact that we've got an authoritarian in charge, just doing some authoritarian control. Not necessarily on board with that, but it's something they can do, so they're doing it. Okay, there's vacuum panning. We're just going to swap into it. Well, we probably don't have the oil right away, but I think the market will just swap from exporting to importing and it should work out pretty quickly. No, we have the oil. Just literally have the oil for that. That's fine. Okay. There's vulcanization. If I was to stay in this tree, I'd probably go to the railways next. But I do probably want monitors, gantry claims, mass-scale trading here from the military tree, so I think that's what we're going to go do next. Yeah. And then we'll probably come over into society, mutual funds, steel frame. Okay, at the printers. lose money. Plus 10. Might lose some opinion of the head. Lose popularity to a person. We don't care about having popularity. Get a smaller one. Utopian. In some ways, I'm on board with that. I don't think we're gonna be giving you what you want, but cooperative ownership, collectivized agriculture. Seeks to establish a socialist society. Yeah, we're not pushing for that right now. We'll send a correction to the printers. Okay. You know, I could probably just tolerate not having the queue full, because the civilian queue is taking over for it for a moment. Got a couple of weeks, and then we'll... Okay, we got 1 week of it, then we need to go put some in the queue. Could do more engines. We're importing a lot less than we were. In fact, we're importing enough. Not importing enough. We'll go and drop the no subvention on it. Oil's fine. Oh, we're gonna need to build rubber. Forgetting about the rubber stuff. Yeah. We have an annex in our subject chat. Okay, so it's all going to be abroad. Or I'm not going to have to search. I'm not going to be able to search that way. Okay. These are all our subjects. We'll just go ahead and key 1 everywhere. Start with that. And then we'll start the transition. So we currently have 30 in market. Technically 15 is being exported, but that export will go away. In fact, actually, let's also max subventions so that it comes in as we do this, and then we can backfill with stuff in the market. Okay, so there's 75. We'll go a week. Imports rise. Do another one. Import rise again. Do another one. And then we're probably going to find that we've now eaten the entire world supply of rubber. We're currently importing, let's say, 20 rubber plantations worth. Anyway, I'm just going to build all the rubber in those places. We're going to be maybe looking to integrate those guys shortly. Yeah, we'll wait a little bit longer before we integrate some of our guys a little bit closer. Okay, rubber price collapsed again because we've got on a maximum subvention, so imports are just rising. We're not going to leave it on maximum subventions forever. We're just trying to rapidly machine tool here. Let's, can't do it until a couple more weeks passed. We're going to start backing off on the subventions here, now that we've got enough domestic supply. I could. This would make the clothing worse, though. Could technically go over the elastics, but that's not profitable. But just the clothes are just too valuable. Okay, drop the subventions a lot. Discourage imports a little bit. Let our subjects be a little bit more competitive. Here's postal savings, which doesn't really do much for us. The main thing that's doing is making everything in the next tier here have no extra cost. So we're definitely really interested now in mutual funds when we're doing the military techs. We'll see what spreads. Mutual funds are spreading. Okay, so we're less of a rush to get over that because it's going to just do the tech I want it to do anyway. Okay, rubber is shooting back up again now as the subventions come off, making it a little less profitable to massively import that. Which is good, because we were the ones paying for that import, basically. No, iron and... well, explosives and iron are back up, so we probably want to produce more of those for the queue. So let's start with the explosives. Like a... well, let's say 10 explosive factories. Most profitable location... domestically, please. Okay. Let's put 10 there. And then iron. We don't necessarily have... we're mainly doing this because it's going to be profitable, hypothetically, for export, so... okay, I think that's enough iron for the moment. Those are all estimated to be profitable, so should be GDP generating. Yeah, and as we make more and more rubber plantations, rubber becomes more profitable locally. I don't own any of the rubber plantations right now. Well, I own them, but I don't possess them. I don't physically possess them. Okay. I think that's probably a good place to put a part break in. If you're watching on YouTube, there will be a part up tomorrow. If you're watching on Twitch, this is about where I'm going to stop midstream to go get a cup of tea. So I'll be back as soon as a cup of tea is brewed to seeing how quickly we can get this GDP to rise. I think in just the last hour of gameplay, we've had the GDP rise 100 million. We're definitely getting closer and closer to where the GDP is just going to start to really rapidly take off. I think in the military techs here, we're going to do monitor, gantry crane, floating harbor. So greater trade capacity, swap over to the steam ships, which is going to help the fishing industry. Also going to increase the throughput potential for our trade. Monitors here is going to allow us to modernize and basically wrap our fleet in metal. Then we're going to probably go up over here and we're going to go into steel frame buildings. Mutual funds plus steel frame buildings is meaning we're definitely going to have a lot more capacity to build, I think. Doubly so with combined with the laissez-faire. If we actually get laissez-faire to pass, that means I need to invest a little bit less in construction, because you can see there's a little bit of a private queue. But at the same time, that's going to allow the capital. It's going to make the capitalist even better at investing. So we'll see if we might still need to expand construction. Because at this point, I'm pretty sure company headquarters, financial districts, both are contributing significantly more than manor houses, and they'll do even more under laissez-faire. So that's going to really rapidly cause a boost in our construction. And I might go looking around for investment opportunities in other nations to let capitalists invest abroad as well. Because they're a little bit better at the micro for figuring out if it's good to invest abroad. And this will help drive up the GDP in the country. So yeah. If you're watching on Twitch, feel free to hang around. I'll be right back as soon as I got that cup of tea brewed. If you're watching YouTube, again, part up tomorrow. With that, wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next part. I'll be back with that cup of tea. Bye for now.